good. His was better. The difference? Showmanship.
I think it's high time we let it out there on the line. Yeah, it's about time. It's about time. It's about time. Yeah.
Well, it turns out that the Master isn't an altruist, and was planning on turning all the Time Lords into himself, just like he did to the humans. It also turns out that the President is so powerful that he can just turn all the Master clones back into humans with a wave of his hand.
The strange thing here is not that the Time Lords can do that, but that the Master didn't know that they could. With his plans foiled, he tries to lie his way back into their good graces with all the suave sophistication of a 4-year-old.
I still saved you. Don't forget that. I'm on your side.
I was getting the cookie for you.
Meanwhile, not only are the Time Lords back, Gallifrey's coming back too. Which means... you would think that that would be an important plot point. But it's not. Apparently, during the Time War, the Time Lords went emo and tried slitting their wrists. And when that didn't work because they kept regenerating, they decided, let's destroy the universe instead. So, who really cares about planetary collision?
But the very worst that can happen, the absolute bottom line, is that you'll have to spend the rest of your life as a mindless, gibbering vegetable. But if the rest of your life's only going to be 30 seconds, what the hell?
So, like he said, the planet Gallifrey coming back doesn't actually mean anything. But it does serve to pad out the episode with humans screaming and running for their lives, which in turn sets the stage for Wilfred to get into the magical cabinets of plot device, which is convenient because the Time Lords absolutely cannot be stopped unless he was in... No, wait, it's just pointless. There is absolutely no good reason for Wilfred to be here, and it doesn't make a lick of difference as to what happens next.
Well, the Master asks to join with the rest of the Time Lords and become consciousness, and they basically say, "Screw you! You're a crazy person! But you made me crazy! La 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 la! I'm not listening! Annihilation in 3, 2, 1!
The Doctor interrupts all of this by having his gun make weird clacky noises that guns just don't make. He aims at the President of the Time Lords, who, surprisingly, doesn't kill him, and instead points out that there are too many Time Lords to shoot.
So the Doctor turns his gun on the Master.
Oh, the link is inside my head.
But even in these extreme circumstances, he just can't bring himself to pull the trigger.
So he turns his aim back at the President. And the President still doesn't kill him, and just states it is murder either way.
And that's when we see that the ghost of plot device Eternity is with them.
She's one of the 2 shamed Time Lords who decided to vote against destroying the universe. She's there because, I don't know, the President thought it'd be a laugh?
And the Doctor looks at her for a moment, and again, we don't know. Does he recognize her? Do they telepathically communicate?
Whatever happens, he turns his gun back on the Master and tells him to get out of the way. The Master dives aside, and the Doctor shoots the machine the Master made to bring in the Time Lords. They start fading out, and the President decides that, now, after the link is already broken, it is time to kill the Doctor. Anyways, this time it's the Master who says get out of the way before attacking the man who made him crazy. Everyone fades away except the Doctor, who is still alive and kicking.
And so, once again, the day is saved, thanks to the Master! Enjoy this brief moment of triumph while it lasts. This is just the eye of the storm.
If you recall, in the first part of this review, I mentioned Davy's propensity for cryptic and blatantly misleading writing.
If she ever remembers me, her mind will burn and she will die.
But really, do you think I'd leave my best friend without a defense mechanism?
But to this point, nothing, but nothing had beaten the utter bait and switch that was...
This is a story of how I died.
So many people died that day and you've gone missing. You're on the list of the dead.
That was his crowning moment of cheese. Was.
The he will knock 4 times prophecy? It didn't refer to the Master, no. Nor did it refer to the drums in his head. Nor did it refer to the guy who put those drums there, no. It was talking about Wilfred, who got himself locked in the magic cabinet and wanted to be let out. See, the nuclear bolt is overloading, and it's primed to vent all of its radiation through the cabinet. Because that's how the safety features on this machine work. They vent all their radiation through the manned monitoring cabinets.
I say, I'm all for decreasing the surplus population, but even I think that's codswallop.
What's more, the entire system is so sensitive and primed that rewiring will overload it. Picking the lock will overload it. Even breaking the glass and running like hell will overload it. But knocking on the glass or opening the door, which are essential to make this scene work, no, they're fine. Even the doctor's pissed at how contrived this seems.
But this is what I get. My reward. But it's not fair!
It needs to be said that the interplay between Wilfred and the Doctor here is really good, with the Doctor lamenting his fate but ultimately facing up to it, even as Wilfred pleads with him not to. But all of that, it's just overshadowed by the epic, award-winning stupidity of this situation. This is lazy writing at its worst. The cabinet is absurdly designed and inserted into the plot with a mallet. The scene where Wilfred gets into it serves no other purpose than setting up for this. In any other episode, this would have been a mundane threat. It is only lethal here because Davies arbitrarily closed off every other solution.
This is a strong contender for the least dignified death a Doctor has ever faced. There's only competition because the Sixth Doctor died by falling and hitting his head on the TARDIS console. Even that could be explained away as a rush job because they forced Colin Baker out of the role. Russell T Davies was trying to write a swan song. And this only qualifies as a swan song if the swan in question was being eaten by a rabid hippo!
And we're not complaining here that the Doctor died to save a friend. He's done it before. He will probably do it again. The Doctor is all about heroic sacrifices. The key word there is heroic. Saving someone from a fire is heroic. Saving someone from a collapsing building is heroic. Saving someone from this is not heroic. Neither is what happens here.
The story could end right here. There is no redeeming this. However, this episode essentially has 3 parts. The story, the death, and the tribute. The story was piecemeal. The death was insipid. But the tribute was pretty good.
The Doctor spends his remaining time visiting the friends and loved ones of this incarnation. I have a sneaking suspicion that Mickey and Martha were married just to save on filming expenses, but whatever.
2 characters get special treatment. The Doctor visits Donna, his most recent companion, on her wedding day and gives her a lottery ticket. Because, hey, if she can't have the life she always wanted, touring the universe and being brilliant, she can at least live in comfort, right?
As a consolation, here's some tuna.
And he visits Rose, his first companion, a few months before she ever met him, and tells her she's going to have a great year, thus bringing the show full circle.
This part is a tribute and homage, not just to David Tennant and the 10th Doctor, but to Davies himself, to the characters and stories he brought to the show, to remind us how good this show could be. Possibly so we could forget how bad it just was.
Tennant's final scenes are beautiful as the Ood show up to sing him to his rest.
Just go with it.
And we get this fantastic send-off music from Murray Gold, culminating in the 10th Doctor's final line,
I don't want to go.
and regeneration.
Now, I'm not going to comment on that final line. It's a bit whiny.
Whiny? Napa Valley is a bit whiny. This?
But the Doctor was alone in the TARDIS. Really, what else could he have said? No, my question is, why the hell did the TARDIS explode? The Doctor's died there 4 times before now. Why did it happen this time?
For his part, Matt Smith makes an entertaining debut, and the image of him cackling at a crashing TARDIS is a great cliffhanger ending. However, this scene was written by Stephen Moffat, and is really a part of the next story, Not this one.
This episode is appallingly bad. The Cult of Saxon, the Blandies, the TARDIS Watchers. Whole stories could be written from the ideas casually discarded here. In fact, I'm wondering if that's not what happened. We did only get 4 episodes that year.
Half of what happens doesn't have enough setup to work. The insanity of the Time Lords comes out of nowhere. The Master's redemption is only slightly less sudden. And yes, I know, that was the way they originally planned to take his character. But that was 35 years ago, before he had a chance to cement himself as an utterly unrepentant bastard.
Major plot elements were left hanging. What was the deal with Wilfred? He was supposed to be special, but hell if anybody knows why. Or was that the actual prophecy? Did he just get trapped so that the Doctor would have someone to sacrifice himself for?
And lo, Wilfred will get himself locked in the cupboard like a dumbass, and he will tap out this annoying little knock, and the Doctor will save him and die because, I don't know, radiation or something.
And even that doesn't explain why he remembered his dreams, or why the woman kept visiting him, the other 2 things that made him special.
Only you stand at the heart of coincidence.
Oh, right. He does it because the script tells him to. I should have known better than to think there was an actual reason.
And what was up with the Time Lady? How did she keep getting out of the time lock when the other Time Lords couldn't?
How did she know what needed to be done to save the Doctor?
What in the hell happened when she and the Doctor looked at each other?
Why did she speak in cryptic garbage that filled time and said nothing?
Why did she target Wilfred and not the Doctor? And the biggest question of all, who was she? Romana? Leela? Susan? She's not played by any of the former actresses, and the credits just list her as the woman. So who...
Hey, where are you going?
You know who she is, don't you? Say it!
Don't do this, man. You can't unring this bell.
Just say it!
Fine. According to Davies, quote, I like leaving it open because then you can imagine what you want. I think the fans will say it's Romana, or even the Ronnie. Some might say that it's Susan's mother, I suppose. But of course, it's meant to be the Doctor's mother. And indeed, the actress has said that she was originally cast as the Doctor's mother.
That is the sound of ultimate suffering.
In retrospect, that was probably one mystery the show was right in not answering.
Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts.
This episode is like an enormous rotting onion. Every single time you think you've reached the depths of its awfulness, it peels back to reveal another layer. It still boggles my mind that some people think this is a fantastic episode. To be fair, there are some good points. Much of the acting is top-notch. The battles are epic and the action sequences are fun. I suppose that is what the people who like it are enjoying, but really, all that doesn't even come close to outweighing the hack writing, the complete physics failures, and the insultingly stupid death sequence. Wait, my bad.
Russell T Davies deserves a lot of credit for bringing back Doctor Who, and for the unique tone he brought to the show as executive producer. But this episode serves not as a testament to his greatness, but as a reminder of why he needed to leave. It's like the abdominal distress after a great banquet, or the hangover after a great night out. If you've had the misfortune of seeing this episode recently, do yourself a favor and go back and watch the first few seasons. Until next time, this is the Brothers Herman, signing off.
Feels like the